Welcome to Sharp or Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet. We are part of the Volume Podcast Network. This is the show that makes the squares sharper and makes the wise guys pay attention. I am Chad Millman. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, my colleague, my companion, my compadre, my BFF professional bettor, Simon Hunter. Hello, Simon.
Chad, how we doing, buddy?
Dude, that was, we're talking about the Bears game, obviously. They looked so good. It looked like they were going to pull it out. I'm a little bit devastated just because I want so much for this team. I want so much for Caleb. I thought this was the best second half he's had as a Bear. He made brilliant throws. He made gutsy throws, except for that last play, which was devastating.
Yeah, it hurts, buddy, but lucky for you, you're in a line of business where you knew for about 5 days you were probably going to lose this game, let alone by a touchdown. So Vegas strikes again, 6.5, lands right on 7. Doesn't matter how it gets there, it always gets there somehow. So that was a crazy game. I'm right there with you. I thought the Bears were going to win that game a million different ways. Jordan Love kept finding ways, and yeah, like you said, it's tough. It's a bad loss, but Caleb has his moments, man. He makes plays that you're just like, man, this kid is an absolute stud. So I know it's painful, buddy, but man, what a crazy, great game that was.
I'm trying to parent right before we're going on the air. I'm texting with my son, who's like, "Oh, that one sucks," and I'm like, you know what? I love the spirit. Good lesson. I'm like trying not to be like, mother God. Fucking damn it. We move on. Our final 5 for the first week of our final 9-week contest with Hard Rock Bet that we got launched for today was Jacksonville plus 2.5, Cleveland minus 3.5, Jets plus 2.5, New Orleans plus 8.5, and Rams minus 9.5. So good for us, 3-2 week to start the contest. A couple of gimmies in there that were never really in question. Our last one's out of the mix. Baltimore, Buffalo, Atlanta, probably Green Bay. You ready to get into it, brother?
Let's do it.
All right, Indy at Jacksonville. Jacksonville plus 2.5. Look, this game was going our way from the beginning. Jacksonville, before Daniel Jones blew out his Achilles, looked like the better team. They were playing better. I thought Trevor Lawrence was having his best game. And like in the first quarter, on their second TD drive, he had a brilliant sort of teardrop pass to Brian Thomas Jr. And then the one thing we've always gotten on Trevor Lawrence for is his touch around the end zone. He throws these lasers instead of sort of finding a nice, easy, soft landing for the ball into his receiver's hands. Did that today with Jacoby Myers. They were running away with it. And then Daniel Jones.
Yeah, brutal day if you're a Colts fan. And just these last couple of weeks, I mean, I guess since the trade deadline, right? Since they went all in, feels like everything has gone wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you said, it was probably never going to be in doubt. We had history on our side. It was just a crazy day, too, for trends. If you followed a lot of the trends we gave out and faded us on that Ravens game with the Pittsburgh, every trend, very basic, came through, and this was one of them. This Jags team, it's bizarre world. They just dominate this Colts team. Doesn't matter if it's Minshew or Trevor Lawrence. They keep winning this matchup in these games, and it's not like a close game, right? Like you said, they dominated. Where Daniel Jones, if he was playing, you saw he was just limited. Like his whole playing style is so limited. Where Trevor Lawrence, the good days where he has it going, he looks like a number 1 pick, right? Running the ball well. Get outside the pocket, off-balance throws downfield, right on target. Just had it all working. The run game was really working, too, with ETN. So, yeah, if you're a Jags team, this is a kind of a sleeper team where if they play like this in the playoffs, we know they could be a good team, right? In this AFC, they can be a good team, especially if they keep winning and they somehow get, some type of home field advantage. So, if I was a Jags fan, I'd be happy because most of us don't take you serious, but you have real potential where if Trevor Lawrence is playing within this offense, you see what he can do. But I'm trying to overreact because they just have dominated this matchup. And this was another one we talked about. This Colts team tons of money all week being the favorite, and this Jags, the number just held them as a dog all week. And like you said, it was probably over within the first quarter and a half once Daniel Jones went down.
Yeah, then, right after Daniel Jones goes down, Jonathan Taylor fumbles. The Jags score on a 25-yard run by Travis Etienne. They go up 21-7. My only hope was that for the rest of the game, Trevor Lawrence did not have to throw a pass. And all credit to Trevor Lawrence, all credit to Liam Cohn. This team has been different with Jacoby Myers. They have been a significantly different team with someone who can run different routes that makes Liam Cohn more comfortable running these in routes that are so key to him running his offensive scheme. And good on Trevor Lawrence. He's been hitting him in tight windows, and he did it today. Hit Cam Strange for a bunch, or Brian Strange for a bunch of throws. Really good catches. They moved the ball downfield. Like, they were just impressive. But again, we're not overreacting. We're not putting the Jags.
Crazy rain, ugly, sloppy game.
Yeah. One throw, Trevor Lawrence had a horrible, inaccurate throw. Immediately, he looks down at his hand as if it was the rain's fault. Like, my hand's wet. That's why this ball didn't go exactly where I wanted it to go on a simple screen that I overthrew by 75 yards.
I mean, I think he only completed 55% of his passes. So it wasn't like he was incredible, but yeah, it was.
He made really the throws he had to make. In the moments he had to make them, he made them, and 55% in driving rainstorm. We're going to get to the other game that was driving rainstorm that went our way. Tennessee at Cleveland. Maybe we should only bet Florida games in driving rainstorms from now on. Tennessee at Cleveland. Cleveland was a 3.5-point favorite. We were kind of I can't say we were never in it. The Titans in the first quarter, I think, had 140 yards. And until the Browns hit a long screen from Sanders to Quinshon Judkins, they had 17 yards. So the Browns defense, this is what we were betting on, came out very, very flat. And yet somehow Shedeur made some decent throws, got this team ahead. They're up 17-14. It was on a razor's edge, this game. Either the Titans were going to do something to backdoor it, or the Browns were just so close to breaking it open. I think if the Browns score another touchdown, it's over. The Titans aren't going to be able to get close to the number in this, but it went the other way.
Chad, what the hell? If you're so lucky this is the holiday season, I'm so mad at you. Your job is not to let me bet these damn Titan games. And every week,
we tried to talk ourselves out of it this morning.
I'm begging you, stop me from putting this in. You have the power now. You're putting the picks in. And luckily in our other contest, the one we were holding on to, I didn't let us put it in that one. But for somehow in this one that I care more about now because our own contest, you let me put it in. It's ridiculous. I told you, I cannot get a read.
We can't get a read.
Whatever I say, the opposite will happen. We'll get to the Pittsburgh game, but I'm banning us. Legit. I'm gonna kill you if you let us put in this Titans team again. But I'm just when they drove the field, the announcer said oh, they haven't scored an opening drive touchdown all season.
And then they scored.
Did. Yeah, and you're just why did we do this, Chad?
Why did we do this?
Sanders, he has an insane day, throws for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and we still lose this bet. So just absolutely atrocious and hating myself every second watching that game. I just, once again, bet a Tennessee Titans game and lost a ton of money. Just huge negative in every way for me being involved. So, yeah, I honestly, I might not even talk about it and just mute my mic next week and let Chad say whatever he wants about whatever Titans game there is.
Well, here's the thing. I think Shedeur Sanders threw – his numbers in this game were insane. But if you look at it compared to Cam Ward, I think – they basically had the same number of completions. He just had a couple of crazy long throws. The one to Judkins, there was a long one to Jerry Jeudy. It was pretty nuts. I think he also held the ball for an average of 364 seconds on just about every time he dropped back, including the play that kind of ended the game. He had a play, hung onto the ball forever, almost was standing still, waiting for the rush to get to him, and then just flung it into triple coverage in the middle of the field. The Titans intercept it, and the next play is Tony Pollard running for what, 65 yards and a touchdown. So, that was before the end of the third, and that went from 17-14 Browns to 21-17 Titans. And then it just sort of cratered from there. And it's just, even the Browns defense, which deserves a lot of the blame today.
All of it.
Could not stop anything. It was atrocious. Honestly atrocious.
Once again, Shedeur Sanders threw for over 350 yards in an NFL game. I know you could piece it any way you want. The fact that he did that, we lost this bet, is just blowing my mind. And you just nailed it. Pollard, he dominated this game. Tennessee bullied that Cleveland team, which was just the most shocking part of that whole game. Like, Cam Ward comes in here, throws 14 of 28 passes, and has 120 yards. And we lose this bet. I can't get over it when I look at the numbers. It just doesn't make sense.
It makes no sense.
It does when you back away and you just realize Cleveland's just a very bad team. And, it's late December. Bad teams just sometimes lay down. And you saw, if you just take it out a little bit, like Tennessee wanted a little more today, they bullied them on that. Like, I cannot believe Pollard ran for 164 yards. So, yeah, hats off to Tennessee, a team we truly cannot get right. It's incredible.
They really did bully him. It was embarrassing. And it was like a game where a team from the South coming into Cleveland, into the dog pound against that defense in winter weather should not have had a chance to win that game today. And they blew him off the field from the beginning of the game in the first quarter, and it changed the entire outlook for this team. Another game that was pretty much dead from the second it kicked off. Miami at the New York Jets. The Jets plus 2.5. The two teams that we were so sure of all week, which seems to be a trend this year. The teams that we're liking later are the teams that we end up winning with, and the teams we're liking early end up being the ones that do us wrong. Unfortunately, this was neither of these teams. Well, Cleveland almost was in contention for getting out. The Jets never were. The Dolphins easily moved down the field for a touchdown on their first drive. Easily moved down the field for a touchdown on their second drive. So now they've got 2 touchdowns in less than 7 minutes. Next series, Jets get picked off inside their own territory off of a bobbled, dropped pass. Dolphins score again. They're up 21-0. This is before the first quarter is over. But then, really before the first quarter is over, the Jets get a brilliant punt return from Isaiah Williams, who, by the way, this is a beautiful story, Simon. Are you ready for some beauty in the ugliness? You ready?
Your brother Gus Johnson moment?
Isaiah Williams, who muffed a punt in the first game against the Dolphins in week 4, got waived, then came back on the practice squad, returned a punt for a touchdown to make it 21-7. The Jets still never came close in this game because then Tyrod Taylor got knocked out. Brady Cook. Did you watch any of it?
Nope.
You didn't watch a play of it?
I probably saw that opening touchdown you talked about out of the corner of my eye, and I was just like, well, that's probably a dead bet. Because we talked about, like, leading up to it, felt like we were hitting on black one more time. We probably shouldn't have. We kept hitting it on the roulette wheel, and it's it's a type of game where that Jets team, if Taylor was there was a possibility of a comeback. Like you said, once he got knocked out, they're bringing the backup. It's just totally dead. And Miami, talking about bullying a team, they ran for over 230 yards. So dominated. And then
and that was without Achane, by the way.
Yeah, you got banged up. So just like, Tua here has not done anything, it feels like, for a couple weeks. So I don't know. This Miami team, like I talked about coming into this game, they've been winning a lot of games, which is pretty impressive just because we all thought they'd quit on this team. And 6-7 for this team is pretty shocking because you talk about how they were, and they basically have had a run where they lost to the Ravens, Chad, and then they beat Buffalo, Washington, the Saints, and the Jets. So Buffalo is a tough win, but the rest of those teams, they're not great, but still, you're talking about a team that was in dire straits, and now they've won 4 straight. Pretty impressive coaching job down there. So, there's tons of credit to the Dolphins. Like we said, we thought they were going to falter here. They won this one. Now they're on the road again, heading to Pittsburgh next week.
Yeah, they were winning this one from the beginning. All they had to do was hold on because once Brady Cook came in, the Jets offense could do nothing. He fumbled one of his first snaps on a 3rd and 1. They then had to punt. He threw a pick when they were in the red zone, easy pick into the Dolphins end zone. That killed the drive at the end of the half. The Dolphins were trying to do nothing. Like it's almost like they were continuing the playbook that they had against the Saints the week before, where the Saints were able to get in the back door. I kept hoping like maybe this is it. You just need like one more play, and you can maybe squint and see it. And they just couldn't get a play. Brady Cook was terrible, as to be expected. Nothing on him. They were dropping passes everywhere. It was just, I took that one out of the multi-view before it was over. That's all I'm going to say. Because you know what I wanted to focus on? The New Orleans Saints. I told you this morning, I took a little taste of the money line. A little like burrito bowl taste in the money line of the New Orleans Saints at plus 8.5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This game kind of played out exactly the way their first one had in the first half. Remember in the first half, we talked about it this morning, like the score was 7-3 in the first half of the first time they played. And the only reason the Bucs had 7 was because of an interception, right? In this game, it was 10-7. The only reason the Bucs had 7 was because of an interception. And then the Saints. Did you watch this game?
Of course. It was my sharper square bet. It was one of my favorite bets this week.
That's right. What did you think? What did you think of this game?
Another game where it's hard to take much away for because of the weather, but we talked a little bit going into it, how this kid Shuck, has some weaknesses, but there are some strengths to his game. And this game, basically, anytime we need to make a play with his legs, Chatty made a play with his legs for us. So
he was great.
We weren't banking on him having 7 carries, 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns, but that's what he gave us. And, we knew it was going to be bad weather. We talked how this Bucs defense is a little suspect. I was really honestly shocked by how bad Baker played. I know, again, once again, the weather was bad. But, Baker, looking at his numbers here, 14 completions out of 30 attempts, 122 yards. That's insane how pedestrian that is. And
Ugly.
Emeka Egbuka, as incredible as he's been, we talked about he's really cooled off these last 6 weeks. And I think the show to steady has had 1 touchdown these last 5 games. And you just think to yourself, okay, they're just offensively not clicking. And in this game, the Saints gave him a couple opportunities to get back into it and couldn't capitalize, right? A couple of times they went for it on 4th down, got stuffed in the run game. And 2 of those were crucial, like midfield plays. So, yeah, great bet on this Saints team. And we talked about that crazy trend, the Saints team in division now, 9-0 on the road as an underdog. It's been a hell of a run for the Saints team, just being continually undervalued in the market. So, yeah, that we didn't expect the Shuck game, but we expect him to keep being a guy that I think the public will underrate, where he's not that bad for a rookie. Like, you're looking at this rookie class, as much respect as we're giving to Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders right now, Shuck has been on a really bad team playing really well for a couple of weeks as well. So he's kind of a sleeper guy, I think, for Rookie of the Year that we'll see how the end of the season here, but I think he's been playing just the same high level as those guys has.
Yeah, he was amazing, foreshadowing he might be one of our heroes of the week. So okay. I'll give more depth to his stats and sort of
he was incredible.
Pulling the curtain back a little bit, because like you said, it wasn't the prettiest game, but what he did when he did it was
I thought he was going to kill us, Chad. When you saw that rain coming down sideways, I'm sure you're watching. It was literally at one point they couldn't even show. They were showing Vita Vea on the sideline. He couldn't even keep his eyes open. It was raining so hard. It's like, oh my God.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
But look, the Bucs, like you said, they turned it over on downs 3 different times, and they could not stop the Saints on 3rd down in the last couple of drives. So super impressive game by the Saints, whose defense played really, really well. Obviously, even like in that second half when they really started to roll, starting off with picking off Baker 2.5 minutes into the second half. He just, one of his receivers, I think it was Tez Johnson, just didn't finish the pattern and was supposed to keep going. And he stopped, and Baker threw it right to a Saint defensive back. And the Saints scored on that drive, and all of a sudden they're leading the game, and they were in control for the rest of it. So good for the Saints. And by the way, good for Kellen Moore. Like, this team has been competitive all season long. They've been a tough out. So, I don't know if people were skeptical of Kellen Moore and him getting hired, but he's done a pretty nice job.
I talked about it last week. My favorite schedule left were the Carolina Panthers, who are at the Saints next week.
Yep.
And they go Bucks, Seahawks, Bucks. It's
Yep.
just, I love when the schedule breaks that way for certain divisions, and this is just the best. Like that, there's a 2-2, 3-1 path there. So it's really exciting if you're a Panthers fan, and just like we've been, people that bet on them every year and for them to win the division. I think it might finally come through, Chad. We'll see.
But 7-6, 7-6. It's
Crazy.
It's phenomenal. It's great. They're playing each other twice in the next 4 weeks. Los Angeles Rams. We were betting them early in the week when they were 7.5-point favorites against the Cardinals. It closed at 9.5, 10.
They actually got bet all the way down to like 7.5 before kick.
Oh, it didn't. I didn't see that. Okay,
Yeah,
so
like ton of late professional money came on Arizona. They got smoked.
well, that's too bad because we decided last minute, in a rare moment of clarity and common sense where we didn't let the numbers scare us off. You had been, hammering, we got to take the Rams in this spot all week.
That was before we even knew all those injuries that we talked about Sunday morning.
And so even though it moved from 7.5 to 9.5 in the contest, we hit the Rams. And there was about 5 minutes where I was worried, and then I wasn't worried anymore.
You in the books, I couldn't believe it. Like I'm in the book, and the line moves to 5.5 live after that touchdown opening drive by the Cardinals. It's like, oh man, I gotta go hit this window again. I mean, how are they gonna give me a 5.5 on this Rams line? And you just saw that Rams team. It was just what we talked about, the perfect spot after a bad loss on the road. McVay owns the month of December. Just always gets his guys that gets them prepared, and that was a very unique spot for them. And we've talked this Arizona team. They've been in a lot of dogfights when they play these juggernauts in their own division. They've just gotten smoked these last 3 games. So
yeah,
it's probably one of the hardest divisions in all football. And yeah, Arizona is going into total reboot mode. So it's a type of team where you just gonna have to burn it all down, right? Like that defense has so many holes, so many issues, and watching that Rams game today, they just felt like they could have done whatever they wanted offensively anytime. So it's wild. Like watching the Rams, watching the Seahawks as an Eagles fan, it's just like, how can we compete with these guys? They just seem like they're on totally different levels right now in the NFC. So really, really impressive what the Rams did today.
Well, the Rams could do whatever they wanted to, right? In the first half, they scored on all 4 of their drives.
Yeah.
Stafford ended the game with 3 touchdowns. He was pulled with 11 minutes left. At one point, Stafford was 12 for 12. In the first half, they had 1 third down. It was in the middle of a drive in which they scored a touchdown. In the first half alone, 330 yards on 36 plays, averaging 9.2 yards per play. Just in the first half. It was so extreme. It was obnoxious. In his last 20 games, this is a crazy stat. In his last 20 games, Matthew Stafford has 46 touchdown passes. How many interceptions do you think he has?
6.
5.
Yeah. No, he's been incredible.
That's insane.
And it's unique for them where they basically have Detroit, the Seahawks, these next 2 games, which is like, obviously really tough 2 playoff teams.
Yeah.
And then they get Atlanta and Arizona to end the season. So I'm interested to see what he's going to be like for MVP, because to me, obviously, Tim or Drake May, they just been both been playing at a really high level all season. So we'll see if Drake May can keep it up, because this is really going to be the true test, December. And on the flip side, I gave you all the stats, McVay. His teams get better in this month. So you assume if you could still get him under minus 200, Stafford feels like a pretty safe bet at this point if he stays healthy. He's just been so impressive.
There was a minute. It was 45-10. I think Arizona had just scored. It was 45-17. And they bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. And
yeah, there's like 11 minutes in the fourth quarter.
11 minutes in the fourth quarter. And I think the first play, it's a delay of game. The second play, it's an illegal shift. And I'm like, oh my God, the Cardinals are going to find a way to cover this game. I was doing the math in my head. I'm like, can they score 3 more touchdowns right now? I'm like, you never know. if they let Jimmy throw it, maybe there's a pick, and all of a sudden this thing, turns into a track meet for 11 minutes. Thank freaking God, because my heart couldn't have taken it. Not with the Bears game going on the other side. Quick word from our friends at Hard Rock Bet, because the games on the other side of this were truly insane. Today's show is brought to you by our presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. The holidays are here and the sports schedule is packed tighter than Santa's gift bag. Week 15 football, bowl games, NBA, college, hoops, hockey, the whole sports sleigh is loaded. And on Hard Rock Bet, there's always something to unwrap and bet on. New customers can sign up and bet $5 on any game. If it wins, you'll find $150 in bonus bets on top of your winnings, stuffed in your stocking. Now that's holiday magic. Not sure what to place your first bet on? Hard Rock Bet just launched a brand new For You page, making it easier to find all your favorite teams, players, and leagues all in one place. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is the only legal sportsbook anytime you're in the beautiful state of Florida, and it's also live in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, Colorado, and Michigan. Coming soon to more states too. Plus, Hard Rock Bet offers new promos daily, so whenever you're listening, just open the app and check out what you've got any day of the week. Download the Hard Rock Bet app and make your first deposit. All right, brother. The next game, Cincinnati-Buffalo, we were going back and forth on it all week. It was 5.5, 6. I don't think it ever touched 6.5. But, there was mostly wise guys on Cincinnati. Our debate all week was, how is either defense going to stop anybody in this game? In the fourth quarter, there were 34 points scored. There are games that are drunk, and then there are games that are drunk that also dipped into the alley, probably shot up some smack, and maybe when they got back to the table at the wedding, they did like 7 lines of coke. And that's what this game was. It was totally, just completely Belushi-esque unhinged. It was insane. Poor Matt Mitchell. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're right. Poor Matt Mitchell. He's the luckiest man in the world having Josh Allen as a quarterback, but it's the best. It's like, there's always certain games where you just fall in love with football all over again. And as soon as that game kicked off and you saw the snow, there's just nothing like it. I'm so glad their new stadium's open roof. It's just, there's just something about Buffalo in the elements. And yeah, you nailed it with what you talked about with the Bengals, where the number's probably too big with Joe Burrow, and we've given it out now. I think it's now 19-3 when Joe Burrow's a dog over 3 or greater. So just a crazy stat. Maybe I just have to start blindly betting it because it just keeps hitting every week. And, this Bills team, honestly, not to say the game went the way I thought it was, but it did. Like, I thought the Bills would get down like they did against Tampa, and they would come back, score, and then get some fluky late touchdown to cover the number. And Joe Burrow didn't do what I thought he was going to do, which is
close.
Go 3 and out. Oh my God. Like, you didn't deserve it though if you had the Bills, where we got really lucky. We had Bills in our another contest of 4.5.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you win a contest line, when the 2 doesn't hit the 2-pointer, it's honestly the best. It really is. There's nothing more sickening when it goes against you, but when it does hit and they miss the 2-pointer, it's the best. But I know people hate their coach. The Bills fans, they're like most fans where they just hate their coach, and him not kicking that field goal to put him up 7 and going for the touchdown on 4th down. I love it because people in the moment are like, I don't like this call, where it's like, I think he gets it, where it's like Joe's not going down in this game. He's going to come back and get a touchdown if he gets that ball back. So that was a gutsy call on 4th down, trusting your quarterback, and he made an insane play where he's drifting back, and you're never in doubt, where it's like someone's going to get open. Whenever he drifts back like that, Josh Allen always just finds someone wide open in the back of the end zone, and he did, and put him up 2 scores. And just Joe can only do so much. And all the stats up there, we've talked about it. When Joe Flacco took over, whatever happened between Joe Flacco and that O-line, it's carried over with Burrow since he's been back. They've been way better protecting the quarterback. And you saw it today, like, even where he had a little bit of pressure, he was never uncomfortable. It felt like Joe Burrow, and played a great game. But unfortunately for him, he just ran into Josh Allen. And, Josh just waits you out. He waits for you to have those turnovers, and those two really fluky back turnovers by Joe Burrow just cost them the game. So pretty insane game. And both sides, like I said, I'm happy to get there with the Bills money line, but anyone out there that had the Bengals number, you deserve the cover. They were covering that entire game.
Bills were down 28-18 midway through the fourth. They had no business coming close to covering 5.5 or 6 at all. And then Josh Allen does what Josh Allen does. 50-yard touchdown run, untouched, against the defense that we thought, all right, how are they going to stop the run? They're probably not going to be able to. Turns out at the end, they couldn't stop the run. The next series, just to give some details for people who didn't get a chance to see it, to what Simon was talking about. The next series, the Bills are down 28-25. Joe Burrow, first pass, pick 6. So now the Bills are up 32-28. Next series, next pass, Joe Burrow throws another pick. That's where the Bills get down to the goal line, and on fourth down, instead of kicking the field goal to put them up 7 and give them the cover with time left, they go for the touchdown. They get it. So now they're up 38-28, I think, right? So no, they're up.
They're up 11.
They were up 11. They converted to take an 11-point lead. There's 3 minutes left. They had 21 points in the span of about 4 game minutes. Joe Burrow goes down the field for a touchdown. He went back for, it was 4 plays, 66 yards, 50 seconds on the clock. That's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was.
So the Bengals cover. The Bengals cover that game. Truly a miracle of a game. So much fun in the snow, like you said. It's just a true football fan's game. Like you could barely see Joe Burrow in the snow when they were doing close-ups. It was awesome. Pittsburgh at Baltimore. This was our brass balls, more like brass brains, Simon, because we got everything wrong about this one. The Steelers came out throwing nonstop. Aaron Rodgers downfield to DK Metcalf. They were reborn in Baltimore. He was scrambling. He had a rushing touchdown, keeping drives alive. He had 284 yards and a touchdown pass. Metcalf 148 yards receiving. What is this Ravens team going to do right now? And one of the questions we have, let me make sure I'm getting the name right here, from, I think it's TRX. TRX, maybe it's Tricks in the YouTube comments right now. What does Baltimore do going forward? Their defense isn't getting better like it did last year. Lamar doesn't look great. He had some moments, but this team just is not producing, and now they're 6-7. They might not make the playoffs. They probably got to win their division to make the playoffs. They're the Dolphins.
Yeah, this could be a sliding doors moment. That Isaiah likely, is it a catch and a touchdown, not a catch, not a touchdown moment?
So true.
It will forever carry weight, and that football is stupid. It comes down to those moments, but that's a total game changer where, the amount of people that sent me stuff this week of basically this girl who was hooking up with a guy on the Ravens has been putting out all this info from behind the scenes stuff, like real stuff. And it's been verified. Like, she's been posting really interesting stuff, but basically the whole team hates Harbaugh. And people are like, well, that's just some bitter ex, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, she's showing texts and she recorded stuff. And it's like heading to the whole next level. Ravens fans are going crazy, where I think they already kind of wanted Harbaugh out. And now that they know that the players potentially hate him and there's like a semi-mutiny in there, it just adds to it. But they're horrible defensively. I mean, how many stats do we give about Aaron Rodgers pushing the ball downfield? Today, the man could not miss. He was in full beast mode. And, we got. I'm just so embarrassed where it's like I'm
upset with us.
Yeah, I blindly bet this dog in this matchup every year of my professional career and just rarely take the losses. And it's just like, well, even if it does lose, who cares? That means next year it's a guaranteed hit. And got sucked into it because Lamar has been covering these big numbers their last 2 matchups, and This totally went the other way. All the voodoo, Pittsburgh, Tomlin voodoo. It's what makes him so special. Again, he's getting run out of town right now. They are 7-6 atop of their division. Like, again, I know Eagles fans are the most insane fan base, but Pittsburgh fans, take a breath. It's just this is what he does. So I'm so mad at ourselves. I can't believe we gave up on him.
Yeah.
We got the best of us.
I'm so disappointed in us that we talked ourselves out of this, that we let ourselves be fooled by what we had seen, that we didn't do what we always do, that we didn't play this professionally. We just didn't play it professionally. That was the problem. Bad miss. And like, here's from Joe Connolly in the chat right now. Mike Tomlin is a good coach. So maybe he can go coach the Bills.
Well, like if he gets fired?
Yeah. Like people are always complaining about Sean McDermott.
I think it's just, again, their organization, they just don't fire people. So
I don't want them to fire him. We talked about this the other day.
I know everyone's
think
hoping for it, but it's just, I get where their fans are coming from. They just want something different. Everyone wants a change in life. But as someone that got rid of a Hall of Fame coach as an Eagles fan and Andy Reid, I get it. Like Andy Reid had to go, and it worked out for both parties. We've won 2 Super Bowls since. He's won 3 or 4. So it worked out. But at the back of my mind, I'm just like, Tomlin, Pittsburgh, you want to move on from Tomlin? I don't know if that's the move. It's really, you just need, what you do need is him to get suspended for a year and like some type of Spygate thing. Go 3 and whatever. 15.
Appreciate Tomlin.
Appreciate him, and also get the quarterback. Like you just, like your guy Mendoza. I would love for him to have fallen to them at the end of the first, maybe early second. He's probably gonna be like a top 3, top 5 pick now because he's such a clutch, high level player with a great body. I mean, I know that interview didn't do him too great, but still, I love it. I just think he's a really gritty kid. So Pittsburgh, they're a quarterback away once again, but they might win the division somehow at 8-9, 9-8. It's just bizarre world.
I'm a little tired of the interviews with Fernando Mendoza. I've watched all of them after every game. It's like they're too.
That was my first one, Chad. I was shocked. I had not heard that kid speak, and I was very taken back.
They're too practiced and too. It's almost like he's running for something, and because he'll immediately stare into the camera. He says the same thing every time. I am not against people giving all glory to God. Give it to whomever you want to give it to, but it's a little bit too rehearsed for me.
And that was my problem. His voice cracking and him being so excited. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is this killer clutch kid who like literally got murdered in his first play.
He did get murdered.
Yeah, he's so tough. And I just could not believe, again, I had not heard the kid speak. I was just so taken back. But obviously you're used to him being all rehearsed and saying the same thing over and again. But my God, I was loving it. I rewatched that interview like 5 times. Couldn't get enough.
Flippin'. You watched that flippin' interview 4 or 5 different times.
I was like, man, I hope the Jets draft this kid. I love him. I want to see how he handles New York media.
That's my quarterback.
For now.
Yeah, they'd be crazy to fire Mike Tomlin. How about you just get Mike Tomlin some players that are under 30 and maybe have more than 1 season rentals tied to their contracts and get them a real roster so you can actually compete in the AFC, which is so freaking competitive right now because they're getting passed, and it's not because of their coach. It's because of their roster.
Once again, this man's about to win a division where the quarterbacks are Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. He's going to win with Aaron Rodgers potentially. It just can't even wrap your head around it. Doesn't even sound real.
Chicago Bears, they were 6.5-point dogs today. And, man, in the first half, they had 71 total yards, and it was the lowest amount of yards for any Ben Johnson coached or coordinated team during his time as a coach and coordinator. And then I was in the text chain with the boys, and I said, I feel like they're just beating down the defense. They're just trying to get them tired, get them feeling like it's going to be an exhausting matchup. And in the second half, that's exactly what they did. Like, they were just running it down their throats. They had that 17-play, 83-yard drive, 8.5 minutes. They tie the game. They forget how to tackle Josh Jacobs on a 3rd down where they could have stopped him from getting the 4th down. Instead, the Packers scored that touchdown. Why, Simon? Why did Ben Johnson not just call a running play when they've been running it down their throats, except for that one time right before that? Why did Caleb not just run for the first down? Why? Why?
It's easy to ask that after the fact, but you got the coach, man. I just can't get over how good of a coach he is, and this was the type of game where you guys should have got smoked. It was looking that way, like you said, first half, going exactly how honestly I thought it was going to go, which is just you guys are a very fun story. You've been punching above your weight for weeks now, and I just cannot get over how it's not caught up to you. And once again, this game, you almost got away with it because it's just that run scheme is incredible and just wears teams out. And on the flip side, the offense can never get into a rhythm because you're just sitting there. But Jordan Love in these matchups, it's
amazing.
He makes big time throws. And like, again, some that have money on him today, it feels so good when you're on that side where he is cooking that way. And, Josh Jacobs is making insane plays and it's all hitting. But I think we're all in agreement. I just cannot trust this Green Bay team. I don't know how I'm going to bet on them come January. There's just something off about this team. There's something missing. So
it's so weird you say that.
It's bizarre.
It's so weird because they were throwing these stats up during the game. Green Bay tops in third down conversion. Green Bay tops in the red zone. It was one other thing that Green Bay was number one in. And I said to myself, so why is this team not 13-0? Why is this team so why is this team so inconsistent? Why do I feel like for a team that is dominating in the most important stats, and I think they had the fewest turnovers. For the team that is dominating in the most important stats, that for any other team, it feels like when they are winning in those situations, they are, 10-2, 11-1. It's clear Jordan Love would be the MVP in the NFL. And they just don't feel like a team that puts it all together every single game, every single time. Now, they've got 2 good wins, the last couple of weeks between the Lions and the Bears in the division. But I agree with you. Like, I trust the Rams. I trust the Seahawks a lot more than I trust the Packers right now.
Yeah, which again, that's not bad company to be in. They're definitely the third team in the NFC right now. They've earned it. Like they're one in this division. They're going to Denver next week, which again, another great spot to find more out about Jordan Love and this offense against good defense on the road. But there's just something a little off for it. Just they have such good receivers. Everyone was healthy today. Like they have such good weapons with Jacobs back there. But I don't know, just something about this team where I'm just like something's a little off. Where like you said, it feels like they should be more dominant and they're just not. So another sleeper team though that coming out of the NFC, it's wide open. Could easily see the Packers making that type of run. We've seen Jordan Love have playoff success, but it's an interesting team where it just feels something like they're off. But huge win for them. Where the Bears, like you just said, that pick at the end there. I don't know. We were joking, but we were having a real discussion. Are they going to go for 2 here? Because we all felt like the Bears were playing that well. Caleb was having that big time of throws that they were going to score with 20 seconds left. But yeah, it's a big time step up by the defense to get that turnover that has really saved Green Bay in a lot of games this year.
Impressive. All right. Simon, give me your shame on you, unless you'd like me to go first.
I'll go. Shame on you, NFL Red Zone. Chad. For something we're paying for, they promised us maybe 1 to 2 30-second commercials. Last week, they bombarded us with commercials. And if I wasn't so upset about the refs, I was definitely going to say something. And then I moved on my left. I go, you know what? It won't be this bad this week. They've heard from the fans. Even worse so, there was some crazy static. Couldn't listen through Red Zone for the first 50 minutes of the game because they had some crazy, whatever it was, connection to the microphones and tons of feedback. And then the commercials. And I'm thinking to myself, so we're paying for something that doesn't work right the 17 or 18 weeks we need it to work right. And they're throwing more ads. And again, I'm not trying to crush Scott here because it's my job to shit on these people behind mics, but there was a couple of times where they cut to him and he seems totally lost. And it's just what has happened to my product. I remember the good old days where Red Zone was great and I'd have the volume on that. And today, again, I don't watch tons of 4-box TVs. When I get back to my place before we do the show, I like to put it on. There was other times where I just switch over to the games, listen to the broadcasters, which is rare. Usually I listen to Scott. So it's just shame on you on Red Zone. I just cannot get over how bad the product's been this season.
Simon, I think I told you early in the year, I don't watch Red Zone anymore. I do.
I'm jealous.
I do.
I can't kick it yet. I'm still addicted.
Yeah, I do 4 box on my TV, and then I'm on my laptop. And there's usually 5 games that are of high leverage for us between the games that we have in the contest and that we've given out, and games that we thought about doing that I want to keep an eye on and hope that they don't cover when we decided not to put them in. And so I never have to worry about red zone anymore. In the afternoon games, like there's so few games, you can just 2 box it. Like today, I had the Bears and the Rams, and I haven't watched a single minute of red zone this year.
I'm at the sports book, so unfortunately, I have to have the red zone on in my ear. So I basically will be watching it with plugged in so I can hear it in my one ear and have my other ear open to talk to people. But I just needed to follow along because I just get lost. Like sometimes I forget I'm watching football because you start talking about whatever betting lines with people and you forget, oh, touchdown just got scored. I need to track my bets. So I listen more than I watch it, honestly. But I can't get over the ad stuff. Like as someone that this whole paid surface stuff we've entered into, we always know it's more and more in their corporate advantage. But my God, please, red zone, give us just 1 or 2 commercials a week. We're paying a lot for your product, and we only get 18 weeks out of the year. It feels like it's too much.
It is amazing how quickly they went from no commercials to, oh, don't worry about it, it'll be limited, to apparently, by your account, I haven't watched a second, to, wow, it's truly disruptive.
I hate it. Like, again, I don't want to go too hard because I know we work for a company that puts ads on our podcast. It's the whole part of the business. But the commercialization of everything, it's just like the MLB jerseys having stuff on and everything. It's literally, I'm becoming that old man where I'm like,
you just keep yelling, Grandpa Simpson.
People hate change.
Just keep yelling at the commercials. Just keep doing it.
I do think the shame works, though. There was less commercials, in my opinion, this week on Red Zone because we just, as a collective group, like, again, rarely do I go on social stuff and go off on these companies. I legit not only sent them an email, I sent them a handwritten letter. How upset I was.
Come on.
Yeah, no joke. I was like, dude, you guys, this is ridiculous. And I know just because I've worked in media, handwritten letters actually still work, people, because no one sends mail anymore. So that's a fun fact.
Who did you send it to?
I'd have to check the address, but they have
Scott Hansen?
No, I told you I'm right down the street from NFL headquarters.
That's right.
Yeah. So hand delivered.
You could just drop it off.
Oh, I drop it off. I'm a psychopath.
Then they're opening it. They're like, "What's inside?"
Well, the funny thing is, like, the way I pull it up, I was like, "This woman is definitely not going to let me in." And she did it. She like walked up and was like, "Are you lost?" or like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I have a letter here for the NFL."
Oh my God, the poor lady in Mount Laurel is just trying to do her job and let people in to go do NFL films, and here's some psychopath walking up with a letter.
Well, I know the guy who runs shop there, so I just knew if I put his name on there, it would get to him. So I'm trying something here.
That is classic South Jersey right there. I'll go a more traditional route. Shame on you, Cleveland Browns rushing defense, because if you're giving up 290 total yards in the game and 184 of those are on the ground, and Tony Pollard gets 161 yards, including a 65-yard rushing touchdown, and you give up 140 yards and 14 points in the first quarter to the Tennessee Titans, who are rock bottom, who've won one freaking game, who this week couldn't stop talking in the locker room about how miserable they were. You're supposed to be an elite defense. You've got the greatest defensive player of his generation who did get a sack today. But come on, Cleveland Browns. Have some freaking pride.
Agree.
Do you want to hear my hero of the week?
Yeah, give it to me.
Tyler Shuck. We talked about him. The boy was not pretty. 13 of 20 for 144 yards. But in the second half, he was 6 of 9. He ran the ball, as you noted, 77 times for 55 yards, 2 touchdowns, his first 2 rushing touchdowns of his career, multiple third down conversions of those 6 completions to keep drives alive, and he gave the Saints the upset money line win. Forgot what they were, something like plus 360, whatever it was. I'm glad. Go Saints. Nice job, Tyler Shuck. You deserve your Epsom salt bath tonight, old man.
I can't. I'm about to give it to this guy, but I got to give him props. Hero of the week. Most shocking game in my opinion. JJ McCarthy is my hero of the week, Chad.
We were going to get to that, and Simon says we were going to talk about Washington, so give it up.
I just tons of respect to the kid. Like, you can't avoid all the stuff. He is one of the most memed quarterbacks I can remember in such an early career. And I don't know if you've seen the meme. And basically, he made this weird face when he talked about how he has an alter ego, 9.
Yeah, 9. I thought that was so fucking stupid.
And like, there was a clip of him like I don't even know. It's like a stank face or whatever it is. But basically, anyone that stinks, like Hurts had laid an egg, whatever that was last game. They basically imposed Hurts' face over this guy's body. He's become that type of meme where he's just getting absolutely killed. And he came out today and played within the system, which we've talked about now, where he's had good games, like that Detroit game, the game they won. He's had different games where when it's on script, I get what KOC sees. Like, he's good with his feet, he has a good arm, and today, didn't have a ton of yards, 163, but he threw 3 touchdowns. Like, he was really impressive in the red zone using his tight ends and really playing smart in the offense, like having the game in the read where he had a couple pressure in his face, didn't panic, back foot right to the guy in the end zone. And, just got to give props to the kid where I talked about they have to play him the rest of the year because you have to keep building on whatever this is and go get a veteran in the summer. So we know this isn't who he is, right? He's not a 16 of 23 and 3 touchdowns type of guy, but there is something there that they can build upon where everything felt lost a week ago. And I think there's some crazy stuff. They're like the first team since, last 30 years to basically get shut out the week before and then shut another team out this upcoming week. So, pretty incredible. They got embarrassed on the road. They come home. He comes off, being a concussion list and really puts up a great game. So, yeah, big win for the Vikings, 31-0 in the sense that a little bit of peace of mind heading into the offseason if he continues to play this way. JJ McCarthy, at least you have something to hope on rather than him just being an embarrassment. So he's my hero of the week.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you called that out. I was wondering how we were going to address Minnesota winning 31-0 over Washington. Washington was, the Simon says, not a great week. Not a great week. Chad's choice was the New York Jets plus 2.5. Brass balls was the Ravens minus 5.5. Rock and a hard place. We did go with New Orleans. And so good on us for finding the diamond in the rough this week. Sharp versus square. I had the Jags. You had the Saints. A rare push for us. Underdog parlay, the Jags, the Jets, and Washington. I could not remember or find in my notes who our moneyline parlay was. I feel like it was the Rams minus 5.5. I think it was Seattle minus.
We hit on everything except we might have either had Cleveland in there or the Ravens, which
right. It was Seattle minus 5.5, Rams minus 5.5, Baltimore, Denver, and KC and Denver. That's what it was.
Oh, nice.
So we got a shot. We got a shot with KC, even though I'd like the Texans to at least cover that game. Some exciting games next week to look at. Obviously, the Lions and the Rams is one of them. Buffalo is playing New England. Interesting game. I feel like, well, you want to start? You got any leans here? Because I got some early opinions.
Yeah, you can fire away.
Well, I want to talk about that Buffalo game. Like, the Bills are 1.5-point favorites right now, which I don't love because I kind of want to bet the Patriots.
Yeah, I'll be patient to see what the market does with that. My initial gut instinct is just to hammer the Bills. That's, like I keep saying, that the Patriots are a good team, but they're just totally overrated, overinflated, and it's a scary team to get in front of because they are a legit contender. But Josh Allen in December under a field goal against an inexperienced team in New England. So to me, this should be a Josh Allen spot. But I'm with you. I'm a little scared to bet against this Patriots team, shockingly. So I'll be patient, see where that number goes.
What do you think of Tampa Bay as a 5.5-point favorite at home against Atlanta right now?
I love it, but I don't get why the number is so short. Like, it's the pros just keep betting this Atlanta team, and they
They
keep
do.
backing Kirk Cousins. It's very bizarre. So I thought this would be 7.5. Like it's just the Falcons with Shuck are no worse than this Atlanta team with Kirk Cousins. So and no Drake London once again. So I don't know. I'll hit this number early, but if Drake London gets cleared, maybe this drops down more, and I'll take a large position. But this is like one of the first lines I hit when it opened. I just anything under 7, I'm going to hammer against this Atlanta team. They're just so bad.
Yeah, I think without Drake London, they really can't function. We saw it today. It's why we were talking about, do we want to take Atlanta 7.5? You were on Seattle. I liked Atlanta, but only if they had Drake London. So that's why it was sort of a pass for us. The wise guys phenomenally were all over Atlanta this
Yeah, they
week.
love them.
They loved them this week. All right, so you hit the Bucks.
Nothing crazy. I just took a little position on them.
Washington on the road at the New York Giants. They're underdogs right now. It can't be worse than what it was today. It just can't.
That's fair. I mean, once again, it feels like that's a Giants line, so I'll probably think it was on the Giants because it's just there's no way they let Jane Daniels play again. I think he re-injured, so it's going to be Mariota for sure, which might be better for them because Daniels didn't look that great anyway. But
Right.
yeah, it's interesting. Went to that game. If I could avoid that game, I'd probably be happy right now. I honestly don't have a strong opinion on it yet.
What do you have opinions on?
So just again, like you just said, really early lines here, and actually, I'm seeing Bucks now moving to -4.5. So pretty interesting. The professionals love that Falcons team.
They do.
It might be an overreaction, Chad, but we can get the Rams -4.5 against Detroit. Once again, I feel like Detroit. I know it's Goff indoors as a dog. He's covered this number a ton, but I just feel like these are totally different teams where the Rams are a class above, and I'm interested to see what the public does with this one because I think most people are going to see those Goff stats about him as a dog and him covering as a dog indoors in this position. So another number I'll be patient on because I think it might move to a better spot for me. But yeah, that's that game in the Saints. Like the Saints were +3 at a couple of books. They're down to +2.5.
2.5.
That's another one I'm going to be patient on. I just think the public will come in on that Panthers side, and maybe I'll get a better number on the Saints. And yeah, another game that just jumped out to me right away. Can't believe it, but Minnesota's +6 on the road against Dallas.
I was just going to ask you about that one.
I hate it, but I think I'm supposed to. So I'll take the 6 in case the professionals bet it down to 5.5. But I've talked about it. That Dallas defense is so suspect. I know they'll get theirs offensively, but I could see a KOC scheming up and them getting them points for this Vikings side as well.
Yep.
So I feel like that number's a little too big for the open.
I was going to mention New Orleans. That felt sneaky to me. It felt a little bit trappy. Also, by the way,
sucks it already got hit off the 3.
I know. The other one that felt trappy to me before we get out of here, there was another 2.5 that I was looking at. Hold on. It was right below that one. Oh, Green Bay and Denver. Green Bay is a 2.5-point favorite on the road against the Broncos.
Early line, I would grab, I guess, Denver, I suppose, but I'm probably gonna end up on Green Bay. They're just the better team. Like we already talked about. There's something missing with them, but they have so much talent across the board. I love this matchup. It's a great test. So it's already down to 1.5 at a couple books now, Green Bay. So if that flips and LaFleur becomes a dog, you remember that the stats again? Yeah, exactly. So
let's be
maybe I'll just be patient and take that position here. But yeah, if you want to grab the 2.5 early, I think Denver's definitely the sharp side.
Just breaking news from Schefter on ESPN. Daniel Jones undergoing surgery for a torn Achilles, so his season is done. That is a bummer for the Colts, who gave us a good run this year. Not that the season's over for them, but that was a bummer. You know, I don't want to ruin it for everybody. All right, this has been. Let's remind everybody what we had. We had the Rams -9.5 today. That cashed. We had the Jags +2.5. That cashed. We had the New Orleans Saints +8.5. That cashed. We lost with the Cleveland Browns -3.5 and the New York Jets +2.5. 3-2 for our first week in the new contest that we're all playing together. I can't wait to see who's in first. This has been Sharper Square, presented by Hard Rock Bet, part of the Volume Podcast Network. We will be back with our next Sharper Square Tuesday to go over the entire NFL slate. Watch or listen on YouTube at Sharper Square. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, download some Spotify, Apple Pods, wherever you get your pods. Rate, review, subscribe, leave us 5 stars. Say whatever you want. Feedback is a gift. Till next time, love you.
Together we can do it. Nobody can do it alone, but together we can do it. Let's play our kind of football, and we'll come out of it with a win. Let's go.